Welcome to our daily forex market analysis call, and this is for trading on August 29th, 2019. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So in terms of the data here, not much important data. We did have crude oil inventories, and we saw a larger draw than expected here. Coming up though, excuse me, coming up here, we have New Zealand dollar data, business confidence numbers, and then Australian data, private capital expenditures. So the data out of Australia and New Zealand hasn't been all that great. And of course, we have seen the central banks actually cut rates for both the countries. So overall, Australian dollar and New Zealand dollars have been weak. So if we see more negative data coming out of them, then it would be negative for both of those currencies, because then we're looking at essentially additional interest rate cuts from both of those central banks. We also have consumer confidence numbers out of Japan here that will have an impact on Japanese yen as well. So coming up on Thursday here, now we are coming towards our month end here. So just do keep that in mind, because we do see some flows, positions being closed towards the end of the month. So keep that in mind. We have a ton of data coming out on Thursday here. CPI numbers out of the Eurozone. We have a preliminary GDP number for US, and we have current account, which is like our trade balance number for Canada. So these will be important numbers here, but nothing that is critical in terms of the data here, but there is a ton of it. And especially here being in the last week of August here, our liquidity is still low. A lot of people are away, a lot of traders are away. So there aren't that many players in the market currently. So do keep that in mind, which means a market can move or markets can have bigger moves than we would normally see. So with this one here, Australia, we have building approvals. But other than that, we do have to pay attention to what's going on in regards to the Brexit here. We got comments, it was yesterday, I believe, we got comments where the parties are willing to work together in order to avoid the no deal Brexit. Those kind of comments are positive for British pound. If we see more of those, then we are likely to see British pound go up as well. On the other hand, we have to stay on top of what's going on with US-China trade relations. And over the last few weeks, we have seen that they may be trying to work something out, but there are tariffs that are coming into play, or that are supposed to come into play on September the 3rd, so beginning of September here. So keep an eye out for any comments in regards to that. If those tariffs do go into play, it could have a negative impact on Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar equities markets, on oil. But if they get pushed back, that would be good for the equity markets and bad for Japanese yen, Swiss franc, and good for Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, and Canadian dollar. So keep those relationships in mind as we are trading. All right, so let's go on to the charts now. So we'll start off by taking a look at our euro dollar. As we can see, euro has been trading in this range here. Price hasn't really done much, just gone back and forth here. So over the last few days, we have seen price drop. But as we can see, very, very small moves here. And right now, we do have a bearish candle close for today. So we have a bearish candle here. However, not a whole lot of move. So at this point, I am looking for price to drop here. So first target is 1.1060, then 1.10 and it could go all the way into 1.1025 level here. So overall bias here is bearish, but we could see price slowing down here. So looking for a potential pullback into 1.1090 or 1.1100 level there. So look for a pullback and then looking for a drop here. So bias is bearish for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, this one has also been trading in this range. We have just seen price go back and forth here. This one is getting impacted by Brexit comments. So again, keep an eye on the news and see what kind of comments come up. But today we have a bearish candle close. So price has been trading in a range here. It hasn't been able to go through the top of the range. So here I'm looking for price to drop. In terms of the pullback, we could get a pullback into 1.2250 here and then a drop. So bias is bearish, looking for a bit of a pullback and then price to drop. Now we do need to see it hold below 1.2180 for it to continue further. That's the type of move I'm looking for here. So bearish bias here for pound dollar. First target is 1.2180 and then 1.2100 back into the bottom of this candle here, and then it could go further. But for now, bias is bearish for pound dollar. Aussie dollar here, this one's looking bearish. We have a bearish candle close here, and we see that price is slowly making lower highs here. So the pressure is to the downside here for Aussie dollar here. So bearish bias here, potential pullback into 0.6750 or 55 potentially, and then looking for a drop. Target is 0.6680, so bias is bearish for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar here, this is bearish as well. We see that price has dropped here. So looking for it to drop further. And right now we do need to zoom out a fair bit here as price has moved down here into multi-year lows. But bias is still to the downside based on our daily candle close and looking for it to drop further. First target is 0.6280, then 0.6240. So a bias is bearish here. Dollar CAD here, this one's been range bound at the moment. We did see price drop, but it got pulled back up here. So it's been trading in a range at the moment. So for this one, we do have a bullish candle close. So price could go towards the high of the range here, towards 1.3350. So bias is bullish. However, it is into resistance here as well. So price hasn't broken this high here at 1.3320. So it could drop from there, or it could pull back a little bit more. So we could see a drop like this, or we could see price go all the way into 1.3350 and then drop from there. So right now, price is range bound. So my bias here is neutral. I think this one could go in either direction, but the daily candle here is bullish. What I don't like about this is that we are right into resistance. So I'm not hugely bullish on this because I think we are getting closer to a turn here. So price could drop. So watch out for that. So neutral bias for dollar CAD. Euro pound here, this has been trading in a range here as well. Overall, we see that price has dropped quite a bit, and now it's holding below this 0.9100 level. So today's candle close is neutral here. We do have a bullish candle close here, but we have a large pin that is about the same size as the candle body. So our bias is neutral. There is bullishness in this candle. So I would look for a retest of the high here at 0.9100 or even potentially into 0.9120. So looking for price to go up a bit like that. So we have a neutral candle close, but look for price to retest and then potentially drop from there. And only if it goes beyond this level, then I would look for 0.9180. But for now, I think we could just be range bound here for euro pound. Euro Swiss franc here, this one is also range bound. We have seen price trade in this range for almost 3 weeks here. We have a bearish candle close here, so price could drop here. I would look for a pullback into 1.0890 potentially, and then a drop. Not a lot of movement in this. So this is a range bound as well. So almost neutral here, slightly bearish, just looking for price to come back towards the bottom of the range here at 1.0830. So slightly bearish bias for Euro Swiss franc. Pound Swiss franc, this has also been trading in a range. We see that price has just gone back and forth, hasn't really done anything. We do have a bearish candle close here, so looking for retest of the low here at 1.1920. So looking for it to drop a bit. We could get a pullback towards 1.2020 and then a drop from there. So something like this, that's what I'm looking for. Now we have support right into the base here at 1.1930. So we have to see a breakthrough for it to continue to 1.1870. So those are the two targets for today. So bias is bearish for pound Swiss franc. Dollar Swiss franc here, this one hasn't really done a whole lot. This one again has been trading in a range here. Today's candle close is completely neutral. We have pins on both sides and small candle body. So bias here is neutral, and this one could go in either direction. So we could see price go up into 0.9850 and then come back down. So bias for now is neutral for dollar Swiss franc. Pound yen here, this one's also been sideways here. Price had dropped today, but right now we have a large pin in the bottom, which means price could go up higher. So in this case, we do have bearish in this. So my bias would be neutral on this. I do not like the large pin in the bottom, but it still has bearishness in the body. So I'm going neutral with this because pin shows bullishness and the candle body shows bearishness. So this one could go in either direction. Either it goes up and then rejects that level to come back into the range, or it goes down, rejects that level and comes back into the range. But basically, I'm looking for price to trade in the range here between 130.70 and then 128.20. So between this range. So bias is neutral for pound yen. Euro yen here, price had dropped and then it has pushed back up. This has also been trading in this bit of a range here. And within that range, this is looking bullish here. So I will look for a move back towards 118.20 level here, and then potentially look for a reversal from that. So right now, we're not seeing great moves. Price just seems to be just stuck. So it looks like the market's just waiting for the month to end, and a lot of people are away, like I said before. So we just have to wait and see what the market gives us. So this week tends to be a bit of a week, basically a range-bound week coming into the end of August here. So for now, looking for a bit of a move higher. First target would be 117.80. Second target is 118.30 level here. So bullish bias for euro yen. Dollar yen here, we do have a bullish candle close here, but price is into resistance, so need to be careful. As we can see, nice bullish candle close, but it is into resistance. Now, if the price goes to the other side, so if we have a slightly bullish bias here, then I will look for price to go all the way into the high at 106.75 level and then potentially come back down here. So bias here is bullish within a range. This one has also been trading in this range for some time now. So this week, so far, prices have just been range bound. Now, if for some reason it doesn't go through 106.20, it holds below this level, then I'm looking for it to drop right from here. But for now, We have a bullish candle close, so we could see a move towards 106.75. Aussie yen, this one, not much of a move today. It's just sideways here, neutral candle close. Again, this one could go in either direction, but seems like the markets are waiting to see if the tariffs will come into play. And like I said, if they do, then the yen crosses are likely to drop. If they get postponed, then we're likely to see the yen crosses go higher. So for now, bias is neutral, and I'm just looking for price to trade between 72 and then 70.80. So just in this range for now. New Zealand yen here, this one as well. We have a completely neutral candle close here, so bias is neutral. Again, price has been holding below 67.90. So I'm just looking for price to basically stay between 67.90 and then 66.30. So somewhere in here. So this is range bound as well. So bias is neutral. CAD yen, we have a bit of a bullish candle close. So this one could go higher towards 80.15. So slightly bullish bias here. So something like this, but then looking for it to come back down again. As we can see here, for the last 3 weeks, price has just been range bound as well. So overall, this is neutral, but I think we could see price go towards 80.15 here. This one here, pound New Zealand here. This one is completely neutral. We saw price go all the way into this resistance at 1.9410. From here, we have seen price drop, but we have a neutral candle close here. So price did not stay at the bottom here, but there is still a bearishness in this candle. So neutral to bearish would be what I would look for. We could get a pullback into 1.9350-ish level, and then a potential drop from there. So that's what I would look for. But overall, bias is bearish to neutral for pound New Zealand. So first target would be 1.9180 and then 1.9090 into the bottom here. So neutral bias for pound New Zealand. Euro New Zealand here, this one we have a bullish candle close here. But do keep in mind, we are into a resistance area here. So area of resistance. So with this one, I would say a bullish bias. However, if price does not break today's high, we could see it drop back towards 1.7340. So just be mindful of that. Bias is bullish, but again, I would say if it doesn't go through 1.7530, then I will look for it to come back down here, potentially towards 1.7350. EuroCAD here, this one is neutral here as well. It has been trading in this little range for several days here. The candle body here it's not really telling us much. It's just sideways at the moment. So I think we could see a bit of a drop, or it could go higher. So my bias at this point is neutral. If it does go higher, I would look for a move towards 1.4800 back into this previous support resistance level. But it doesn't seem to have a lot of bullishness in it at the moment. So my bias is more neutral on this, because it could push back all the way into 1.4800, but it could also drop from where it is currently if it doesn't go through 1.4770, so today's high, then it could just drop from here. So I would keep an eye on this. Bias is neutral. Pound CAD here, this one is also neutral. We are seeing prices trade in a range this whole week here. Last several days, price hasn't really done much. So today we have a bearish candle close, but we did over here as well, and then it went back and forth. So bias here is neutral as well. So not the best moves this week so far. With this one, we could see a retest of the low and then a move back into the range, or we could see price go higher, retest the high, and then come back into the range. But either way, I am looking for price to trade within the range, and only if it breaks below 1.6150 would I look for the next one. Otherwise, the bias here is neutral for pound CAD. Euro Aussie, this one is, we have a bullish candle close here, but we are into resistance. It hasn't quite broken the previous day's high. So if it doesn't break the previous day's high, we could see price come back here into the range here, back towards the bottom of the range here, towards 1.6350. However, as we can see here, it hasn't really done a whole lot. So this is not a super strong scenario here or a setup in this case. So bias, I would say, would still be bullish because of the bullish candle close, but we are into resistance. So be careful. If it doesn't break yesterday's or today's high, then we are looking for a drop. But because there is bullishness in this candle, we could see price go higher into 1.6520. So just watch out for that. And then pound Aussie here, this one is also trading in the range. As we can see, price went into the top of the range, came into the bottom of the range today, and it has moved in both directions. So there is bearishness in this candle, as we can see from the big red candle here, but we have a large pin in the bottom as well, which shows that price could go higher. So my bias here is neutral, just looking for it to trade between 1.8200 and 1.8020. So somewhere in between. So neutral bias for pound Aussie as well. Silver here, silver is bullish. So we are bullish for today. Bias is bullish. Now we are coming into some important resistance levels that we haven't seen since 2017. So just be careful when we get into these large levels. We can have orders sitting there that could push the market in the other direction. Sometimes there are stops there that could get triggered, and it could cause this larger move in that direction before it drops. So it's important to keep that in mind and be careful at this level. So for now, though, bias is bullish and looking for price to go higher. Excuse me. The important thing here would be to see if it goes to test the high at 18.50. If it doesn't go through, then we could see a move lower. However, bias is bullish. If it breaks the high, I'm looking for it to go to the next level at 18.65. So for now, bullish bias. First target would be 18.50, then 18.65 here for silver. Gold here, gold is neutral. It's just been trading sideways here. And today's candle has some bearishness in it. So this one could drop back towards the bottom here, support level at 1525.65 here. So I would say neutral bias here. What I would watch out for is if price goes into the support level, and then we have to see, does it hold above? If it holds above, then chances are it's going to go higher because it would have done a retest at this point. And if it holds above the retest area, then usually price goes higher. So for now, I'm looking for a drop towards the bottom of the range here at 1525. And then if it holds above, then I will look for a move higher. So looking for a bit of a drop here for gold towards 1525, and then looking for push all the way into 1550. Oil here, oil looks weak here. We did have a bullish move higher, but now we are into resistance. So this is a support resistance where price has tested this level before. And as we can see, price has reacted at this level multiple times. So with this one, we do have a pin bar. We could get a retest higher, even towards the top of this range here or the top of the candle, and then looking for price to drop from there. So bias here is bearish, and we could see price drop from here. In terms of the target here, the first target would be 54.80, and then we're looking for price to come back down towards 53.50, and then 52.80. So for now, though, I'm looking for price to drop, and target here will be 54.80 and then 53.50. So bearish bias for oil. Copper. Copper today has had a bit of a bullish move here, not very strong, not a very strong move here, but it has moved up. And now the question will be, what do we do? We are kind of stuck into resistance here. Price is into resistance at 2.52. If it holds below, then we're likely to see a move to the downside here. So bias is neutral here. Because it did not close above today's or previous day's highs, yesterday's high, this one is more of a neutral, and I think this one could turn here, but we have to see how price reacts at the high. So I will look for a move back into 2.52 and then looking for a bit of a drop from there towards 2.548, sorry. So neutral bias for copper. Bitcoin here, Bitcoin has dropped, nice drop today. So looking for price to drop further, bearish bias here. And we could get a pullback here towards 98.80 and then looking for a price to come back down towards 90.60 level. So 9,060. Bias is bearish here for Bitcoin. S&P 500, this one is also range bound at the moment. It's been trading sideways here. Looks like everyone's waiting to see what happens with those tariffs that are supposed to come into play first week of September. So as such, everything is sideways. There is a bullish candle close, so it could go higher. However, it is into resistance right here. So my bias is neutral here. If price does not break today's high, so I will look for a retest of 28.90. If it doesn't go through, I'm looking for a drop back towards the support here at 28.20. So bias is neutral, but I would pay special attention to this 28.90 area. If it stays below, I'm looking for it to drop. If it does go through, then I'm looking for it to go towards the high of the range here. But where it is currently is very important. So bias here is neutral for S&P 500. NASDAQ here, this one is a neutral candle close. It did drop, but then it has pulled back up. Now, price is again into support resistance here. So we could see price go higher to test the previous pin here at 76.37. So a bit of a bullish push here. But if it doesn't go through this 76, let's say 40 area, then we could see a drop. So this one is neutral as well, but it does have some bullishness, so it could move higher. Just keep in mind that we are very close to the resistance, so things could turn around here. DAX here, DAX hasn't really done much. Again, this is also range bound, so this one could go higher again. So first target here would be 11,770, then 11,850. So this one's neutral as well. FTSE here, FTSE's moved back a bit here. So we have a bullish candle close, but so a bit of a bullish candle close here. So this one is bullish. I would say I'm looking for price to go towards 71.50, and if it's still strong, it could go towards the high of this one. So first target here will be 71.50 and then potentially 72.20. But keep in mind that this one could also turn right at this support resistance because this would be a retest of this level here. So just be careful with that level. So 71.50 is the first target here for FTSE. Last but not least, we have Nikkei here. Nikkei's also gone sideways for the last 3 weeks, really. We just haven't seen much of a move here. And again, as you will notice here, we are into support resistance level here. So if price does not break through or hold above 20,570 level, then we're likely to see this drop here. So for now, bias is neutral for Nikkei as well. All right, so that's all I have for So that's all I have for today. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.